Dustin Poirier says that if USADA allows Conor McGregor to compete without 6 months of testing, it makes a joke of USADA. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Dustin said, "I like USADA, and I do think they're doing a good job of cleaning up our sport. But for me, if they waive that 6-month testing period and allow him to compete with no drug testing, it kind of makes a joke of the whole thing. Just remove it completely. There shouldn't be gray areas. It's white and black with USADA. You take tests and pass them, you're able to compete. You don't take tests, you don't compete. There was never a gray area before. We'll see what happens. I'm not shitting on the UFC, I'm not shitting on USADA. I don't want to accuse or say things about either company without them making an official decision. But I don't know what they're going to do with Conor and the drug testing thing. But if they do allow him to compete without drug testing, they're making a whole joke of USADA." On McGregor tarnishing his legacy, Poirier continued, "I'm sure it would if he got busted for using steroids. But also, he was in the USADA protocol when he was doing great things. So he was passing tests when he was still making incredible things happen in the octagon. It's tough to say. It depends on the person looking in from the outside. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say if that would happen. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say it does. I'm sure a lot of people would stand behind him. So it is what it is." Robert Whittaker breaks down why he's taking Aljamain Sterling this weekend at UFC 292. Rob believes Aljo will utilize his grappling and doesn't see how O'Malley can get the win.
I underestimate Aljamain Sterling every time and time again. I back his opponents time and time again. I say he can't do this, he can't do that, and he does it. I've almost become his good luck charm. But guess what? I'm on the bandwagon now. Aljamain Sterling wins this fight. I like the way Sean O'Malley fights, but I don't think Sean O'Malley has the striking advantage that he's used to having in this fight than with a lot of others he's had, especially when it comes to reach. But I also see Aljamain utilizing his seamless takedowns and grappling that he's been working. You can see it time and time again in his fights. To just really make it hard for Sean. We saw in Sean when he fought with Jan, he had some troubles when he was taken down. Yes, he defended a lot of takedowns, but when he was taken down, he did have troubles. And Aljamain is a nightmare if he gets you down. He's a nightmare. You've seen him dismantle a lot of high-level wrestlers with his grappling. You don't have to look much further than his last fight, okay? He took Cejudo down. He controlled him on the ground. He controlled him on the fence. He's obviously athletically gifted. He's technically gifted. His fight IQ is super high. He has so many options. I just don't see how Sean gets this win. We've seen Sterling fight super high-level strikers such as Sandhagen. We've seen him wrestle super high-level wrestlers such as Cejudo, and he's fought and beaten everyone in between. Granted, he had a bit of a rocky start because of the way he won the belt, and then, everybody that just left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. He had to fight to correct that, and he's done that now.
So it turns out Alex Pereira isn't great at golf.
Event. I'm with Hans Molenkamp and the champ, Alex Pereira. Back up. Here's the issue. They don't have to jump me. You got this dude. So
Daniel Cormier commented, "Both of y'all had nothing for me." Daniel Rodriguez says that swing though. Dustin Jacoby commented laughing, crying emojis. And Nina Marie Daniel says Alex Goff's swing is terrifying. Chris Weidman says that he wants to make another run for the middleweight title. Weidman returns to the octagon this weekend at UFC 292 against Brad Tavares. John McCarthy on the Weighing In podcast says although that Weidman is a great fighter, there's just no way he can make another run at the belt.
Look, let's be honest. He's not going to have a title run. That's not going to happen. Ever since his loss of the title to Luke Rockhold, Chris has been on a different run, and he's had difficulties in fights, but he's a great fighter. He's a tough dude, and just to see him come back off of that injury, my hat's off to him. I hope only the best for him.
Damn, who brought Negative Nancy over here?
Okay, hold on, because I believe there's only 2 wins. Since the Rockhold loss, he beat Omari and he beat Kelvin Gastelum because I did that fight. And go ahead.
My thought is that he's gonna have to get started on the wrestling. If he can get to the wrestling, he's got great submissions. Also, he just doesn't utilize them.
He's got a good
he fell in love a little bit with the kicking and the kickboxing and all that stuff during the Anderson Silva camps. and he knew that the wrestling was there and he could utilize it, but I think he fell in love with it a little bit too much, and it cost him against Rockhold. But I think if he gets back to the wrestling, because he's good at the takedowns, his single leg dump is probably one of the best in the game. And when he gets on top, man, he just finds ways to get to the mount. He finds ways to get to that top position and do damage. He has good ground and pound. So if he's gonna beat Brad Tavares, that's the way to do it.
Yep, I agree.
Alexander Volkanovski is picking Aljamain Sterling over Sean O'Malley. On his YouTube channel, Volk said, "I'm leaning towards Aljamain because I just think that the wrestling and the control is going to eventually get there. You know how sometimes you just watch someone's story and it's just like something is meant to be? Then you have Aljamain talking about definitely moving up in weight after this. A part of the story is, does he lose? And he was moving up anyway. And Sean O'Malley, this whole thing that he's done, becoming champion, massive superstar for the UFC, it could be, it feels like sort of something that could happen. Beating Petr Yan, when someone just has that momentum and it's just meant to be and it happens. I'm a believer in that sometimes, man. I really am. I feel like it could definitely be a TKO for Sean O'Malley because his striking is that good, but I will lean towards Aljamain. I think he's got a more safer way to victory." Dustin Poirier wants that trilogy with Justin Gaethje. Dustin tweeted, "I did the first fight where he's from. Let's do number 3 in the boot." He followed up with, "Me and Justin are 1-1. Let's do number 3 in New Orleans." Colby Covington made an appearance on Michael Bisping's YouTube channel today. Colby claims a little birdie told him that Jon Jones went to the UFC and told them that he refuses to fight on the same card as Colby. Colby went on to say, let's be honest. Let's talk about the facts, Michael. Is Jon Jones going to be willing to share a card with his former college roommate who knows all of his dirty secrets, all the skeletons that are in his closet? I bet you that he's going over to the UFC right now and telling them, yo, I'm not sharing a card with Colby. I refuse to fight here. A little birdie told me, Michael, that he went backstage with the suits and the big dogs of the UFC and said, hey, he refuses to share a card with me. So they are going to give him what he wants. They don't want to ruin their New York show. They're hoping that he still shows up. They need a backup plan. He's not reliable. I'm the ultimate company man." And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to Ian Gary saying that he's carrying UFC 292 and also going off on Colby Covington. The first one's from Joshua. It says, Ian is definitely letting the fame get to his head. The second one says, Ian gonna ruin his career thinking he's new Conor. And the final one's from Nicholas Carnage. It says, Ian skipped all stages of Conor's development and went straight to when everyone hates him. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.